Yo, just want to do a quick tutorial real quick on this photo I took just to add the sun into a gloomy day. Here we are in Lightroom Classic, actually. This was straight out of the camera. I did use off-camera flash, so your photo might look a little bit different, but either way, I'm sure you're here because you want to see how to add sun, like if it was a sunny day. I usually take my photos during what you would call the golden hour. Unfortunately, things happen, you make appointments, and the sun didn't want to play that day. So I still took the picture using off-camera flash. That's why you can see they look like it looks pretty good. Some people may like photos like this, but I wanted to go ahead and add I like vibrant pictures. I like sharp, vibrant photos. So I imported it, and just to do it real quick, this is what it looked like. At the end. So let's go ahead and do step by step on how I made this happen. So I'll go ahead and just go ahead, and if there's a better way to do this, please let me know. I come from Lightroom 5.5. Then I finally made the jump over to Adobe Cloud. All right, so all I use is brushes. You can use gradients, you could use whatever you like. I use brushes to add the sun to my photos. That's how I do most of my editing, is just brushes. So first things first is here, after I imported it, I usually do a import setting. This is what my import setting looks like. If you guys want to take a look at it and use it, go ahead by all means. Again, I like more of a punchy photo. So this is with no brushes yet. This is just, I import it. Every photo comes through like this. Not every photo is going to look like this right when you import it, even with your import setting. But if you want to go ahead and do it, go ahead, and then all you got to do is start tweaking it after. I could do that on another video. This is actually my first one, so welcome and thank you for watching my video. I might get one view, and that might be my wife. I may get 2 views, who knows. So here you go. If you wanted to look, here's 465 minus 20 minus 40 plus 35 plus 9 plus 5. I always throw in a vignette. I want to say this sharpening always stays at 40. I don't know. But if you wanted to, you could see those numbers there. Same thing with noise reduction. I want to say those are standard. But if it's not on yours, you can go ahead and change that. So when you import, I didn't do any profile. But I do always put a vignette. I keep it always at 50-50 because it's normal. It doesn't look crazy. You can tell. I can show you. You can do something like really crazy like this, and then later on in your career as taking photos, you're gonna go back and you'll be like, man, I went crazy on the vignette. So I don't go that hard. I go about what I have at 14-15. So this still brings them into the photo. They're the main act on this photo, so I bring them into focus a little bit better. Just draws your eye to it. I don't mess with anything else. I don't do any of the calibrations. I don't do anything with all this mumbo jumbo. So again, import it here, and first thing that you should be doing anyways is making sure your white balance is good. My white balance was pretty good at yours. Everybody's gonna be different. So don't copy my white balance over my tint. Everybody's is going to be different. This is just happens to be what was as shot, and that's what I got. So now let's go into the brushes. So you click my brush, added a brush. These are all the brushes that I used. And what I did is start off here and started off with my brush. You want to do your feather. Your feather's going to be, I can't even point. I'm trying to point at my screen, but you can't see. The feathering part is going to be that outer ring to the center ring. So you want that to make it look natural. You want that ring to be big, but you still want to have some control over it. Same thing with the size of it. And your flow, I have it at 73. Density is going to be 83. I could do another video about that too later. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and unhide this. This was my first layer of brushes, and all I did was temp all the way warm, 100% warm. This is going to bring as much warmth that you can out of this photo. So I got 100 on there, and then I met my exposure at 61. Initially I went probably overboard just because you want to see it happen as you're doing it, and you may like it, but it's just gonna be to taste. I ended up around 60 because it's more of a natural look. You don't want to make it look like you photoshopped this thing, but you did a good edit. So I did this here just so you could see where I did it at. It's going to be all this red area, and you could see how it flows out because that's going to be the end of my feather is going to be out there. So you just work it, and then I did I want to say slightly over here and a little bit here. Okay, nothing really too crazy on them. All I did was just graze her a little bit because you want to, the light would hit her. It would be, if the sun was actually there, this would be the wrong side. But I did it anyways. It's because it's my photo, and at the end I think it looks still pretty natural and vivid. Okay, so then I went over to my second layer, and my second layer I have it at 92. So I changed it a little bit. Reason being is I didn't want to blow it out. When you start using exposure, you run the risk of blowing it out, and I didn't want to do that. So as you can see here in the red, I did here. That'll help you out see a little bit better. And then you can see up here, you can see that white area. That's pretty much where I did it. So this was more for what I would call foreground, which is not really foreground, but to me it's my foreground. And I didn't want to blow that out, so I dropped the highlights all the way down. Because you could see if I didn't, then now you're messing with, you won't be able to see the leaves that are on the ground. And that's pretty much the look that I want. That's why I like this place. So you have you have dead leaves, you have hay on the ground. This is like a little farm. So I dropped this all the way down. Contrast, I pumped it back to 36 because I'm trying to bring in that black to it, that you could actually see that texture. The exposure, I kept it at 196 because I did want this to jump out, to be that golden look. I did drop my shadows to 50, and then I needed that black to come back in, so I brought it down to -41. Again, do it to your taste. I could have went harder on this black and made it a little bit more vivid, but I didn't want to get too crazy. Again, everything that you do initially, you kind of want to dial it back after you look at the whole picture, and make it look as natural as possible. All right, next I did I didn't hide it. Bam. Next I did her back and his face and his shoulder, which you could see here. It was a smaller size that I used here. Just boom, just the curve of her back, and then right here on his shoulder, making sure that I don't get too much onto her chin. If anything, there's a slight, if anything there. I didn't want to get anything on her face, but I did want to get to the top of his head and down here, because now you're contouring that sun that wraps. If it's coming from back here, it would hit him here, and it would go through on his shoulder, and it would be through her back. So here, I did not too much exposure, but a decent amount to get them to match the background, which is 0.95. Contrast, I bumped it up a little bit, because once you start bumping up too much exposure on so many levels, you gotta have to put your contrast back in, because if not, you're just gonna blow it out. Highlights, -15. I didn't mess with saturation. I didn't mess with anything like that. Again, I think this brings enough color to the photo. Next I did was her hair. I actually just used the hair effect right here. Boom. I don't have too many here. I used to have it on my Windows. I'm now on a Mac, which, forgive me, it's a learning curve for sure. I got to bring all my brushes back in. So I just used hair. I think it comes standard. Everybody has hair on their brush, which does these settings here. And I did just that. Unhide it, sorry. I did that. So I colored in her hair here. Actually, when I was going through this, I wanted to add a little bit more here. So I did her hair. I liked it so much I put it right here, which just gave more dimension. You could be as creative as you like and use hair on other things. It doesn't have to be hair. But in this instance, yes, I was using it on her hair. You can go as crazy as you like. If you want to get into the little wispy hair and everything like that, you can add to it if you like. Get it in there. What this is doing is just making the hair, it's just sharpening up the hair, making it more 3D, I guess you could say. Brought it onto his hair here, and then I actually brought some to his beard to bring his beard back in, because I blew it out when I want to say with my flash, it kind of blew it out. So anywho, so that's the hair. And then just one final touch was the skin. So it's a portrait, got to do skin, and not too crazy, but just good enough. I did her arm here just to lighten it up. I didn't go too, you don't do the whole face. You kind of want to contour it. So I did a little bit off of his neck here. And then his face just here and here. And then same thing with her, just a little bit, just contoured a little bit. I'm not the greatest at contouring, but I think I did a pretty good job. And it still looks natural. It doesn't look crazy. And that's it. That's what it looks like. Added some sun, I guess. If you're here and you learned anything, go ahead and hit like and subscribe. It'll help me out. Again, this is my first video, so congratulations. And hopefully to bigger and better things. And just wanted to show you guys how to do that. So now I have sun in the background. Let's go ahead and just check real quick. Boom. That's what it looked like out of the camera. Some people like that washed out look. I mean, it is what it is. If you like it, cool, you're done. With me, I wanted to bring the sun in there and the golden hour, and to me, it looks awesome. I mean, that's what photography is for me, and for everybody, it's different. So again, that was all. Thank you. God bless.